And so, I guess you're wondering where I have been. I need to talk about that a little bit before I resume reading my notes about Dear Catherine. Okay, gonna do one quick video now, and I may do another one this afternoon or tomorrow, reading the last of my notes of when I was tracking the behavior without a box Kleenex. So, where have I been? Well, you've been hearing me after my husband's surgery complaining about various parts of his recovery. What happened was a week after he had the staples removed, a mere week, 3 weeks after the surgery, 3 long weeks after the surgery, the incision opened. Fun, fun times. It opened to the depth of about 2 inches. So this was a pretty major thing. And I spent a lot of my time doing what I'm doing now, which is trudging back and forth to the clinic near our house that we're patients of. They tried everything in their power to mitigate this thing, including getting a wound vac pump, which I had never heard of before. I didn't even know this technology existed, where they put a sponge that has silver in it somehow inside the wound, and they turn this thing on and it pulls all the fluids out. 3 days later, okay, and it wasn't good news. It was pulling out a lot of fluid, but it was also the blood tests were showing a lot of things going wrong, and it was just not a good thing. Where it showed his infection rates were climbing all the time. So guess what happened? We were told that he had to go to San Jose to the hospital there to do what's it with threes, 3 days of antibiotic IV treatments. I didn't have a problem with that because I've had to go in there in the hospital for that myself when things go south in crazy ways. Please forgive me. I know I don't sound like myself and I'm honking on this a lot, but we are having another wave of Sahara dust roll through here. And there's nothing more the biologists hate than Sahara dust. I encourage you to Google it. It's a crazy phenomenon. It hits different parts of the world. We don't get it so much in the US, but here in Central America, we get it hard. So where was I? Okay, San Jose. So we drove to San Jose. Yeah, I'm already pretty crushed and broken by this point because I've dealt with him being out of the hospital 3 weeks, having to drive him around for 2 solid weeks. Not just playing chief cook and bottle washer, I'm now playing chauffeur. I'm playing all these different roles, including him wanting me to look at his drains and do this and that and the other thing with his incision. And I'm kind of like, no, because I'm not a nurse type. I do pretty well with first aid, and in an emergency, I do pretty well. I had a coworker that had a heart attack one time and was part of the people that did the CPR on him to make sure his heart pumped enough so that he wasn't brain damaged when they got him to the hospital. And I can wrap wounds, that sort of thing, but I'm not a nurse. It's just not my gifting. I'm not good at it. I'm quite squeamish. I'll do it in a pinch if I have to do it. But anything more than that, you're kind of on your own. So my kids came down, some family members came down for the surgery. So we had to go to San Jose. I contacted my kids and said, "Hey, um, taking your father to San Jose. This, and this have happened. This, and this is what's going on. 3 days, whatever." So I get down there, and the next noontime, my daughter's there, my youngest, my baby's there. And thank God she was, because in the trauma and falling apart of everything that was going on, I somehow threw out my back. And when that healed, 3 days later, my knee swelled up like a basketball. So here I am, knee like a basketball, driving my car the 5 hours to San Jose because he can't drive. He's too sick to drive except for little short distances. And they took him, we got to the hospital around 9, and they admitted him immediately because it was obvious he needed IV, IV infusions of antibiotics. And so it started from there. My daughter arrived the very next morning, and we had rooms at the Hilton, not far away at all. And it spun into 11 days in the hospital, is what happened. They had to keep taking him back into the surgical suite again and again and again to remove dead tissue and to take a look at what was going on, to keep resetting the wound vac pump. It was just a very unpleasant experience. Not that they were unpleasant at the hospital, because again, it's our favorite hospital. The people who work there were all awesome. My daughter got there and saw that I was falling apart, that this was not an optimum moment for me, and I was hobbling with a swollen up knee, and took me off to the hotel, insisted, even though there's a bed right in the room, I could have stayed with him. And we just had a really sweet time together. Um, we would go to the hospital for a while each day, and it wasn't a long, long while, and then go back to the hotel where I would ice my knee and we would get takeout. That's basically what we did. And they finally released him on this last Saturday. We got home on Sunday. What are we on now? We're on Thursday. So that's how short a time it's been. The house is wrecked. My knee is still messed up, and I'm sick as a dog with the Sahara dust. And my husband turns to me yesterday and says, "Oh, yeah, Arthur and his wife are going to be here in less than a week." And I'm like, I can't play hostess. Fortunately, I stay in a hotel, but he wants them to give them the grand tour when they arrive here, and it looks like crackheads are living here right now. I did finally manage to get all the dishes done yesterday for the first time. Go me. And I'm trying to work on laundry right now. And I'm trying to plan getting this house clean for when his friends are here to visit. It's not looking good. Plus, since he's been back, we have had a situation where the clinic was supposed to remove a drain and they did not. The drain is still in. He's still producing fluid. I just don't know. So I don't know what way all of this will shake out. I don't know how long his healing is going to take. I'm back to playing chauffeur, and he's currently in his language classes. He's not firing on all cylinders, but not that I would expect him to this soon after being out of the hospital. But it is what it is. I got to call out a couple of wonderful people who made this visit tolerable. Hilton Hotels, number one. Why? Well, I'm about to show you why. My GoPro. I had broken my GoPro and I had to go off to the shop and get fixed, and my daughter brought it back to me. Okay. The first couple of days we stayed at a Hilton, it was wonderful, but they were pretty much book solids, only got the 2 days. And I was so dinged out with stress by everything that's been going on. I left this in the room accidentally. And I don't know if you price these things lately. They're not cheap. Okay. Um, so I was freaking out when I thought about it a couple days later. Freaking out because it's like, oh my God, I just got this stupid thing fixed and now I've left it somewhere. Hilton found it. They found it for me. Apparently, whoever stayed in the room right after us stuck it in the safe there. So they found it and they returned it to me. They called us and let us know they had it. They went above and beyond. And they have beautiful facilities here in Costa Rica if you ever want to stay at one of them. The Hilton Garden Inn in Liberia across from the airport is wonderful. The one we stayed at in Santa Ana is wonderful. Now, we stayed at the Hilton Grand on the downtown pedestrian mall, and it was beautiful, sure enough. But I don't want to stay there again because the room they put us in had glass walls into the bathroom, and you could just see everything. I don't care if they were frosted. So that one, I would say, if you're traveling with family members, maybe not do that unless you want to look at everybody's butt crack and junk while they shower. So then we moved on to the oh, what was the name of that place? It's part of the Choice Hotels chain. I have a credit card with them where I get points and things. Um, I'm having brain farts. Senior citizen moment. So this hotel was a Quality Inn. That's what it was. And it's the nicest one I've stayed at. Nicest one I've ever stayed at in the chain. And I've stayed in that chain all up and down their hotels, the expensive ones and cheap ones. Don't get me wrong, this place wasn't cheap, but they went out of their way for me. They kept me topped off with ice for my knee every night. The lady who was the manager there worked with me for us to keep extending our stay out as they kept giving us different dates they were to release him, and the release date came and went and said, "Oh, one more surgery, one more surgery." They went out of their way for us and they helped us once I explained what the situation was and what I was doing there and why I couldn't give them exact dates. So they were outstanding. This is the Quality Inn in Quality Hotel in Santa Ana, San Jose. Hospital Metropolitano yet again, this time Hospital Metropolitano in Santa Ana instead of the one downtown. Always a pleasure to be a patient there compared to some of the hospitals that we've been in Costa Rica. It is every bit as beautiful and modern and with an excellent staff. You'd swear you were in the US in the nicest private hospital there. You'd swear it is gorgeous. I want to thank my youngest child, my daughter, who came and rescued me because she saw us falling apart. I was falling apart over this whole thing, and I'm still falling apart. And she rescued me, jollied me up, helped me with my knee, helped me with everything, helped her poor father when he and I were both walking wounded, and I could barely help him either. I want to call out thanks to everybody at our clinic, including Dr. Andrea. She has gone above and beyond, and so has everybody there. Wonderful people. I cannot say enough good things about the doctor's office where we attend the clinic. And, my husband likes to claim God's favor. We've actually had some knockdown dragouts about that since we've left Fundy Town, since we left our old Possum Creek church. Why? Because I always look at it this way. When he's screaming, God's favor, when he's getting his parking space right up front, I'm like, yes, but you're implying that people who believe and only believe the correct way are the only ones that are going to have blessings and favor from God. And I have a big problem with that. Why would the God of the universe only bless a teeny tiny portion of people who are drinking the Kool-Aid their own way? Why? Because that implies that if God is favoring you and giving you all these blessings, that He's not giving blessings to anyone else, that you're hoarding them all for yourself. So I don't like that. It's a type of, what do you call that? Prosperity gospel. And that just sucks diddly ucks. I'm just going to say it right now. It's not at all rooted in the Bible, not at all. And to think that way, that if you do right, God's going to bless you all the time, is just, it's childish. It's a childish belief system. And it makes me question what the goodness of God actually is when I hear people saying, doing that. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. And but we did have a lot of breaks this trip. The traffic was light. Let me tell you something. There's been times when I've gone to San Jose for hospitals or whatever, and I've gotten caught on Rutas Siete, uh, Route 27. I'm having another brain fart. I can't even think how to say 27 in Spanish. It's been so long. There's times when I've taken that road and been stuck in a traffic jam for 3 or 4 hours. Traffic going to and from San Jose is always crazy, and getting stuck there is I cannot think of anything that's more of a PTIA. I just can't. It's awful. So this time it was great. We slid on down there quickly. We slid out of there quickly and got home again. And the whole time we're freaking out and worried about the cats, even though I left the industrial size cat food auto feeder open and ready to go for the cats. I knew they would have plenty of food and water. I just didn't know when we'd be back. I just didn't know. And the second time of my husband, well, he's getting wound care now, so I'm glad because they want to know why I wasn't changing his bandages. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to because when they did the discharge instructions, I wasn't given a copy, and it wasn't noted in here. It wasn't noted in any of his discharge paperwork that I was supposed to do what they're saying, which is change out the bandage and blow dry his belly before we put a new one on. So we're letting them do that. I would rather pay to have a medical professional do the stuff that I'm too squeamish to do anyway. And I'm praying that these stitches hold. Supposedly they're going to come out in less than a week, and I'm hoping that he's evidencing some healing. So what happened? They think that they're pretty sure he got MRSA and two different scalp infections in the incision, and that's what caused the incision to open. I don't know, man. At least now he's frightened to death of MRSA and has asked me his 50,000 trillion questions about how to deal with MRSA. So he's actually doing better at that. Um, I've been so dinged out and stressed out that I told him both after his first time in the hospital and this time, it's like, buddy, I'm not going to set a reminder to give you your meds. You need to handle taking your medication when you need it. You need to organize that in whatever way works for you and do it. And he has. I got to say, he's been faithful to it. And I just need to gently remind him every now and then about the MRSA protocol. So I'm starting to scrape. I'm 5 days out of there, starting to scrape all the dirt out of the house from the chaos that has been pretty much continual since mid-January here because of his being ill. Actually, farther back than that, maybe about Thanksgiving. So there's that. And we'll go from here. I hope that the Sahara dust lifts soon. Last couple days, I haven't been able to move much because of the knee and because of the recovery from stress. I'm just feeling wiped out and everything else. I spent a lot of time on the Without a Crystal Ball subreddit. And they're the only reason that I know that um, someone was a little bit less than nice. One of the Brown children died, and his name escapes me now. I don't watch Sister Wives. I've never watched it. It doesn't. I'll take it back. I've watched a few minutes here and there, and it's just not something that appeals to me at all. One of the sons of Cody Brown, a young man who was 25 years old, committed suicide. Without a Box of Kleenex has made endless videos about this, called to get a copy of the police report. She apparently looked at the Fundy Snark subreddit and picked up the links to the local police scanners to hear what happened. So she is busily doing video after video about this, and people are telling her how disgusting it is that she's bullying the family of a deceased man. And I have to agree with them. It's a new low, even for her. So I will be back very shortly reading all my notes, the last of my notes on the time that um, that I was tracking what she was doing all the time because it was just so unbelievable out of the box. I could not understand how anybody could do that. On a different note, I am encouraged to see how many people who were her fans have given her pushback over her coverage because it is that kind of disgusting and disgraceful. You want to do something positive, think peaceful, loving thoughts towards that family. And if you're praying kind, pray for them because losing a child, I just can't even imagine. Like I said, this last year, I had a very close relative of mine, one of my aunts, lost her son. And they're still trying to figure out if it was drug abuse, if it was an accidental OD, whether something happened and somebody killed him, or that he killed himself. And we just don't know. But it is the kind of grief I'm watching his parents walk through. I would wish him my worst enemy. Not even the likes of Cody Brown, who I really don't like. Polygamy is a bad construct. And to throw that in and blame all these different people and say this is the reason this happened it goes to a whole special level of awful that doesn't exist. She's claiming that I'm a journalist. No, you're not, girl. You couldn't even read the manual on best practices. And like I said, I feel responsible for that because when they made us rename ourselves from bloggers, that was the name she chose. And I was just rolling my eyes and was very snarky about it. And she didn't pick up on the sarcasm in what I was saying and how I was saying it. She just assumed it was legitimate that I was saying. No, no, that's never right. So it's another day with Katie Joy acting like the tackiest woman on the planet. Must be a day that ends in day. Okay, you guys, I will be back either later today or tomorrow reading the last of my notes because I quit taking them once I realized that someone's attorney was after them. And I had originally started taking the notes with a view of possibly doing a book. And I've edited out stuff that I've said that doesn't really affect what's going on with her because I definitely have thoughts about stuff. And sometimes if I'm saying, oh, bless your heart, I'm not always being the nicest about it. So that's where we are with this thing. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Hit like, subscribe, do all those stupid YouTubey things that everybody always begs you to do. I'm throwing my begging in. And I will see you when I get organized enough to read my notes.